Hey, it's Becky, and today we're going to be doing a quick book haul from the past few months because, as you can see, I've started to get a little bit of a collection of parcels going of books I know I've pre-ordered or ordered and I just haven't opened yet, although some of them I have opened and I think I've read at least one of them already. Okay, so first up we have Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld, and I bought this on a whim because I kept seeing it everywhere and I really wanted like a nice contemporary romantic book to read, just to kind of palate cleanse between big fantasy novels. This one kept coming up on my timeline. I saw it out in like the real world as well, and it's just been hyped a lot, and I've actually already read it, which is why it's already opened, and I really adored it. If anyone's been watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and they liked the recent series where she's kind of in the writer's room a lot. It's a little bit like that, but it's way more like rom-com heavy. But our main character is in a writer's room for an SNL type show, and every week there is a new guest star, and the rom-com is with the guest star, obviously. And I definitely recommend it. It's like quite light-hearted. There's some angst in there. There's mentions of COVID, so if you are a bit struggling with that still, maybe not reading it would be good, but I found it really fun to read. I read it within like 2 or 3 days. It was so good, so yeah. Next up is A Little Life, which I got because I was actually going to see the play in theatres in London. And I went to the play and I really loved it. I got this about the week before. I didn't realise how big the book was going to be. So I thought it was going to be a much smaller book because obviously it's been adapted into a play. I didn't realise how long it was. So basically I got the book in the post and I was looking at it. I was like, oh, I'm not going to finish reading that in time. So I didn't end up reading it. I went to the play. I really loved the play. If anyone is thinking about going to it, I definitely recommend it, although check on all the trigger warnings. There's a lot of sensitive topics. But yeah, I'm going to hopefully read this at some time because I really did love it, and apparently the book has even more details in it. But yeah, it was just a little bit too big when I was very busy. And then the next book was Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. And I've read her previous book, Seven Devils, which was written with Elizabeth May, who I also love as an author. So I was really excited to pick this one up. I do actually have it on my Kindle as well, so I'm probably going to read it on my Kindle because I've not been reading a lot recently. But I had to pre-order this book because it has dragons in it. So I'm going in quite non-informed about what the book's about, and I'm going to try and stay that way. I've heard some good reviews, but I've not heard loads of chatter about the book so far, so I am excited to see what it's about. So next up we have some parcels that I'm going to try not to dox myself, and you might not be able to hear me on the mic, I'm really sorry. So the first book in my pile was Silver Sable Payback by Kath Lauria. This is part of the Aconite Marvel Heroes series. There's loads different kind of sub-series of this. This is part of the Marvel Heroine series, as you can hopefully see there. I have got, I think, nearly every book Aconite have come out with by Marvel. I really loved their kind of Thor more fantasy series, but I'm really getting into the heroines. I started reading Black Cat about 2 weeks ago. They're really fun, small, I'd say middle grade-esque books. They're perfect for like school children as well to read, but they're just really easygoing superhero novels rather than comic books. And whilst I do love comic books as well, I do love reading and I love these characters, so I'm excited to hear more about Silver Sable and other characters from the Spider-Man world. Next up we have The Witch and the Vampire by Francesca Flores. Yeah, that's right. The jacket seems a bit loose on the book, so that's a bit worrying. Okay, it's definitely the right book. It's just the jacket seems to be a bit loose, so when I read it I probably will have to take that off. So I picked this up because I'd heard some good things about it coming up, but obviously it has witches, vampires, and I believe the main couple in it is our lesbian couple, so I'm hoping that is a thing and I've not just made that up. It's a kind of darker fantasy romance book, kind of similar to what I normally have been reading on my Kindle recently, and I'm really hoping I enjoy it as much as I thought I was going to when I pre-ordered it. I am a bit disappointed about this cover, but I'm hoping with maybe I can bend it at the back a bit more so it fits a bit better. But I'll probably have to take this cover off before I read it because it's really annoying because it keeps slipping off. And then we have a big one here. Let's see what it is. Oh my god, I actually don't know how. I'm meant to open this one. Okay, so I opened the package and then I figured out it had stopped recording. So I'm going to go through them again. We got, actually, instead of one big book, it was 3 books, which we got in the package. I remember I actually bought these all in one go because they were on sale. I think they were between like £4 and £6, and I was like, oh, I'll just give myself a little treat. I also wanted to buy some more books that weren't fantasy books to kind of read in between fantasy, which I think might become a staple of this video because I keep buying more contemporary books to kind of read in between the big novels I am reading, because they often burn me out and put me into a bit of a slump just because of how intensive they are. So the first book I got was Daisy Jones and the Six, and I know everyone's been talking about this. There's the TV show that everyone has loved, and I saw a lot of people were talking about the TV show because they'd read the book and loved it so much. And I also remember there was lots of hype around the book and Taylor Jenkins Reid in general. So I have finally got this book. I'm going to read it hopefully soon and figure out what all the hype is about. I don't know much about it. I know, if you haven't heard of it, I know it's about kind of a band on tour. Daisy Jones and the Six is the name of the band. And things happen, there's a lot of drama. And that's kind of all I know. That's all I need to know to go into it. I don't want to spoil myself with this one either. The next book I got in this haul was Memphis by Tara M. Stringfellow. And this is about our main character Joan, who was an only child when she left Memphis, and now she's gone back and she's meeting her family again, especially like her cousin. And it's all about how she grows as a woman, and especially compared to the past struggles of her family, especially the women in her family who have had a lot of struggle in their life, and it kind of mirrors itself a little bit, I can say. I picked up this book because it was adjacent to some other books that I have already had or read or have heard of, mostly because they were like longlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction, and I know when I bought a lot of the books on the long list a few years ago, I really loved them, so I thought I would also enjoy this one as well. And then the last book from this little haul was a How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackie. And I've heard lots of things about this one as well, very similar to romantic comedy. I kept seeing it everywhere. It's meant to be a bit of a thriller, there's a serial killer, but it's also quite funny and dark in general, which is something I think I'm going to enjoy. And someone I think also said it was a little bit like My Sister the Serial Killer, which I also got on my shelf ready to read. So hopefully I can also go in and read them and compare them as well. That's a lot of talking, so I'm going to drink my smoothie. Okay, we've got a few more parcels now. So there's one. Oh, and this is another one from the Aconite series, Queen of Deception. So they keep bringing them out, and they're all by different authors. So this one's by Anna Stevens, which I believe also read one of the other ones I've read, which has Heimdall in it. I think I might be getting that wrong. And again, I just really love the Marvel series, middle grade books, fun characters. we have characters that we know and love, like Thor and Black Cat, and characters that are less known as well. So this one is Hela, Queen of Hell, which we've seen in the Marvel films as well as in the comics. There's also Lady Sif and the Valkyrie, who are the other books I think were by Anna Stevens that I read before. And then they always have kind of a different storyline. So it's very similar to comics, like all of these stories are happening at different times with different characters. It's just very fun. So I'm excited to pick this one up as well, along with the rest of the collection. And then we've got another big package, so we'll see what this one is. And this one is more than one book, which is really fun. So the first one is The Iron Bow. I believe this is the first book. So I can't figure out if this is the first book in this series or not. Oh. No, it's not. It's the last book in this trilogy. It comes after the Iron Fey series, which I read when I was a lot younger and I loved. Recently read The Iron Raven on my Kindle, so I probably need to get the middle book. I've run out of parcels, so maybe I still need to order that one. But this is the last book. It follows mainly Puck, if it's anything like The Iron Raven, and other characters, not just Megan and Ash from the original series. And it's just kind of having more adventures whilst they're like the queen of this world. So yeah, I don't want to spoil it for anyone if you've not read the original Iron Fey series, but if you like fairies and fae, and you also like a twist of modern future and tech, I think you would really like it. The Iron Fey series is all about there's the normal fae, and then there's, as technology grows, there becomes a species of Iron Fae, which our main character kind of goes into this world as. So yeah, that wasn't a very good sell, but you should definitely read it. And then the next book is The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. I adore Mark Lawrence's books. I've read the Grey Sister series and also recently the Girl with the Moon and Stars. I think that's it. I think it's called something else, the series. I'd have to check. I'll put it somewhere on the screen at some point. But immediately when I saw he had another book out, I pre-ordered it. I have no idea what it's about. It has like a massive library on the cover, and obviously it's about the book that wouldn't burn, so I'm sure I'll love it. Hopefully. But yeah, this came out last month. I've been meaning to read it, but obviously it's been in the package for about a month, just because I've been so busy with life, and I'm hoping that I'm really going to like it. And it's a bit of a hefty book, but this is probably what I'm going to be reading in between all these contemporaries as well. And then last but not least, I have this massive package from Hatchet Publishing, and I was originally saving, I had this for so long, and I was originally saving it because I wanted to do a video just unboxing this one book, but I keep putting it off, and I feel like I'm just not going to do it, so I'm going to do it on here, because I've already done the rest of them. I'm on a roll. So, don't you hate it when that happens? Okay, let's try the other side. It's so old, the cardboard won't rip properly. This is already a beautiful book. I can see it. So this is the deluxe edition of The Eye of the World, which is by Robert Jordan. I have recently, as in the past few years, started reading the entire Eye of the World series. And I think I'm on the 4th book now. They're quite hefty books, but Eye of the World is not the biggest of them, and this looks quite big. So it's been taking a while to get. So it's taken me a while to get through them. But this one, I just love this one, and I had to get it because I've got deluxe editions of so many other books, and this just reminded me of. It reminds me a lot of the. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. It reminds me a lot of the folio Game of Thrones books, and hopefully you can read that a little bit. But it's all green with like this golden foil imagery, as well as on the spine. And then it also has the same green sprayed edges. So it's just really beautiful. It also has images. Again, I'm going the wrong side, sorry. It has images within the front cover and a map, which I don't believe any of the current paperbacks have these colourful imagery. At least the ones I do. I don't have them. It does have its own built-in bookmark, which I love. But yeah, the paper feels really thick as well, like it's well made. I'd recommend any fans of the series picking up the deluxe edition. But yeah, Eye of the World is one of those fantasy series I think everyone's probably heard of at some point. Robert Jordan's like a really big author. He passed away a few years ago, and I think Brandon Sanderson actually finished the series for him. I might be wrong. Please fact check me on that in the comments. And the Eye of the World is all about the world that they're in is always on a cycle, and these cycles repeat and repeat, and there's some people who are very important to it. Our main characters end up being really important to it. I haven't got that far into the books. I don't know who's doing what or anything like that, but they have also recently brought out a TV series on Amazon Prime, which I watched the first few episodes because I was following the books, and then I was scared I was seeing stuff that I hadn't read in the books yet, so I ran away until I've read more. So yeah, I've got the light on, so it was like shining against it, but I just love it. It's definitely going on my main fantasy shelf. So I've tried piling them up to show you all as much as I can, but it's these plus 4 more books because I can't lift up more than this. So I had quite a big haul for the past 2 or 3 months maybe, the last quarter of the year. I haven't done too bad. I haven't over-purchased, which is good. A lot of these were pre-orders, apart from those three at the top, which were not. And I'm really excited to get to reading all of them. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon before I collapse under this pile.